people. Today I am coming at you with a kind of special knife review, and what you can see laying down on the table is the honestly worst knife I have in my knife collection so far, and it's the MKM Jouf. Its design was developed by Mr. Terzuola, who's known almost worldwide amongst knife people for his let's say combat style knife designs. So far so good. I'd say now let's have a closer look onto this knife, the Jouf. First, its specs. The steel used is a Bowler N690. The steel is hardened about 60 HRC, 58 to 60 HRC. The geometry on the knife is a flat saber grind, as you can see here. The grinding lines are quite crisp, which is always a good sign for manufacturer quality. This particular knife is produced by MKM, Maniago knife manufacturers. And as I told you before, the designer of that knife is Mr. Terzuola, and this is his special logo. You also may notice the false swedge on the back of the knife, on its spine, which is also very nice made. The overall construction of that knife is a hidden full tang. You see, the tang is not overall exposed, and there's quite a lot of chimpings. The handle is made out of 3D machined and sculptured G10 and is held by 2 screws. Just to keep things simple, I would say. The stock of the knife is 4.8 millimeter thick. The blade length measured from the tip down to the, I would say to the handguard here, 13.7 centimeters, and its handle measured from here down to the end exactly 12 centimeters. So it's quite a compact knife. Speaking about compact, the weight of the knife is approximately about 250 grams. What's also important to mention is the width of the blade. It's just 2.7, 2.8 centimeters, so it is not a broad blade at all. So at first sight, I would say the knife is pleasing to the eye. The knife also comes with a simple nylon sheath. Yeah, which is, I would say, overall average quality. It is not mind-blowing, but it also isn't 100% bullshit. Let's sheath the knife, and you can see the knife will not fall out of the sheath. That's quite okay, I would say. But it would have been cooler if the knife would came with a Kydex sheath. But again, friends, I'll try to keep things fair. So that's why I will start with the positive aspects of the knife. And please notice it's all personal preferences at the end of the day. So what's positive on that knife? Well, I would say it is quite pleasing to the eye. It is manufactured okay, I would say. It does not look boring. And I have to say its pricing was, at least for me, it was okay. I don't remember exactly, but I think I've paid 150 euros for that knife. And back in the day, I thought, okay, that's just okay for that knife. Now, I would say let's get a bit more serious. I've put a rating list together, of course, with my personal based aspects to judge a knife. Um, so now I'd say, here we go, friends. And that's my personal judging list for knives. Let's put the knife a bit out of the way. I hope you can read all my points and specs I wrote down, and I would say let's start first. First point is proportions, nice design. Does this knife have a nice design? I personally would say, yeah. By any means, it is not a boring design. So I would say, yeah, that's a nice design. But don't forget, it's just personal preference. Okay. Nice design. Next on the list, blade steel used from today's perspective. Is it a low quality steel, average quality steel, or a high quality steel, such like RWL34 powder steel? Well, we've got here Bowler N690, and I would say, to be honest, it is a average steel. I hope you agree. Next on the list, handle materials used. Here you can see it's black G10. And I would say, from a knife maker's perspective, G10 isn't that of a spectacular material nowadays. So I would say, yeah, handle material, okay. There are better, but there are also worse. So let's say G10, okay. Then overall impressions. I would say quality-wise, overall impression on that knife is okay. It is not amazing, as I would call a knife amazing, but it's also, by any means, it is not bad quality. So I would say overall impressions, okay. Now, next on the list, durability. Is this a hard user's knife? I would say material-wise and yeah, overall impressions mixed in, I would say it is quite a durable knife. just look at the tip. The tip is very sturdy. The stock is quite okay, 4.7, 4.8 millimeters. From the geometry, you can see there is a lot of original stock left. Yeah, I would say that is quite a durable knife, honestly. So I would say it isn't low, but it isn't also a tank. I would say it's average. Now, next on the list is balance. So how is the knife balanced? Let's check it. Now you can see a lot of weight is in the handle section, which is okay for this type of knife, because I think this knife is not meant to be used mainly for bushcrafting or hunting. I think this is more of a tactical knife. But let's talk about that later. So for that aspect, the balance, I would say, is good. So then, next on the list, the secondary bevel. The secondary bevel is this thing here. This here is the secondary bevel. And I would say the secondary bevel is bullshit. The secondary bevel is way too thick. I hope you can see it. I don't even need calipers to measure it. Just by eyeballing it, I can tell you this. The secondary bevel is weighed in over 1 millimeter thick. So that I would say, man, that's wasted design, honestly. Even my X doesn't have over 1 millimeter of secondary bevel, and I don't even get it why they shipped it with a almost 1.5 millimeter thick secondary bevel. Man, that really sucks. Just have a look at that crazy thick bevel. So, how will we judge the secondary bevel? Fat, medium, or slicer? Well, okay, I would call that fat. So next thing on the list is the handle shape. So let's check the handle. The handle is 3D tailored, which is a cool thing, and even down the tang it is tapered. And from this perspective, it is two-dimensional shaped with a slight broomstick. Yeah, I call it broomstick geometry on the handle, which is always a good thing. So, handle shape, I would call it, it isn't mind-blowing, it is not top-notch. I would call that average too. Now, usability. Since this knife has such a fat bevel, you can't use the knife for fine cutting and slicing tasks. Yeah, I know, maybe this knife isn't even meant to be a nice slicer or cutter, but come on, it is a knife. And the main purpose of a knife is to cut and slice, and not to be a knife with an X geometry or an X bevel. So that doesn't make any sense to me. Usability. Usability based on the geometry on the knife, I would say it's bullshit. And usability based on the handle construction, I would say it isn't even okayish. I mean, that's really hard. It is not top notch, but it isn't even okay. If I squeeze the handle, all that structuring leaves marks. So, to be honest with you, if you really want to use that knife really hard, you have to wear gloves. Otherwise, the sculpturing of the G10 will chew up your skin. And that really sucks, honestly. I really hate if knife scales or handle designs or geometry are chewing up your hands. Man, look at that. Well, I would call usability bullshit. Next thing is comfort. As I told you, comfort while using this knife, it is not a comfortable knife to use. If you maybe want to pinch grip your knife here, these sharp marks here, or how will we call these? Tooths, I would say. They will chew up your skin very, very fast. Then next thing is, this here is absolutely a no-go. If you grab your knife, okay, your finger is going to slide the entire time while you use it over these sharp tooths. So after 5 minutes, you will get very, very ugly blisters on your fingers. So yeah, comfort bullshit, I would say. A completely fail. Then, in addition to this failure, there are those completely nonsense jimpings. And man, those are sharp. Honestly, those are really sharp. They don't stick out, but they are left sharp. Come on. You don't want sharp jimpings on your fingers. Man, just watch. I squeeze the handle. And now look at that. That is one of the most bullshit knife handles I've ever had in my hand. So that is a completely failure. Bullshit. So let's drop down the knife a bit. Let's come to the sheath. Well, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the sheath is, I would call it average. It is not mind-blowing. It is made out of Cordura. I don't even know what kind of Cordura. But for sure it is not 500 denier. And these lashings here, I don't get them. What the hell will you stick in between these lashes? Since they are sewn onto the sheath in the middle. I don't get it, but to be honest, I don't even give a crap about them, because for me, I don't even use the knife and I don't even use this sheath. But it is, for the materials used and the secure of resheathing the knife, it is average. Just to keep it fair. So next on the list is a very important aspect for me. Bang for the buck. Is this knife a bang for the buck knife? um, well, the original price for that knife is about 185 euros. I've paid 150 euros, but is it a bang for the buck? No, man, no way. Because you will waste 150 euros just to get your hands chewed up by that goddamn ugly shit handle. Man, honestly, that sucks a lot, that handle. The handle and its surface design is even worse than the geometry they put onto the blade. I can't get it, honestly. And these people are calling themselves professional knife designers or knife makers, but I don't know why they so often come out with bullshit knives. I don't get it. Maybe you know it. Please leave a comment in the comment section down below if you know why this sometimes happens. Well, back to the bang for the buck. Is it a bang for the buck? Hell no. Next thing is sharpness out of the box. Man, people, honestly, this knife came dull as shit out of the box. I tried to resharpen it several times, as you maybe can see here. And don't get me wrong on that. Maybe you know I'm a knife maker myself, and I really know how to sharpen knives and how to judge on knives and so on. But this knife honestly came dull out of the box, and I can even slide my thumb on the blade and it will not cut. I don't get it. Honestly, I don't get it. Maybe that's even because the secondary bevel is thick. So sharpness out of the box, a total failure. I'd call it bullshit. Then edge holding ability. As I mentioned before, I tried to resharpen the knife a lot because it came dull out of the box. But next thing is, it doesn't even hold its sharpness. You can slice one potato with it or cut through 4 or 5 paper sheets, and the knife is starting to become dull, even though it is hardened up to 60 Rockwell. So that's something that should not happen to such a knife. If I were a soldier with a choice of choosing this knife or a flathead screwdriver, honestly, people, I would take the flathead screwdriver if it comes to combat situation instead of this sharpened, not sharp pry bar. So yeah, edge holding, bullshit. Resharpening, bullshit. So let's check the list again. Proportions, nice design, yeah, okay. Blade steel, from nowadays perspective, average. Handle materials, average. Overall impressions, okay. Durability, average. Balance, I would call that good. Secondary bevel, fat, which is bullshit. Handle shape, average. But the surface design is bullshit. Usability, bullshit because of the handle. Comfort, bullshit because of the handle. Sheath and sheath system, yeah, it's okay. Bang for the buck, bullshit. Sharpness out of the box, bullshit. Edge holding, bullshit. Resharpening, Yeah, you name it, bullshit. So, next is, let's make a summary. Let's sum all those aspects up. So, how many bullshits, lows, nos, fads, and bads do we have? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Yep, seven. And which OKs, average and mediums do we have? Well, let's check this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6. And how many high tops and amazings do we have? Man, that's great mathematics. 1. Only 1. Yeah, okay, 1. So, we've got 7 times bullshit, low quality, nos, fads and bads. 6 times okays and mediums, and only one time amazing or top, which was on the balance. Only the balance is the only good thing on that knife. So next step on the list is the question, who's this knife made for? So even there I put on a list and I asked myself, is this knife made for bushcrafters? No way. Is this knife made for hunting or hunters? Would this be a good hunting knife? Nah, no way. Would this knife be a good tool for outdoor peoples? Slicing, carving, food prep? No, come on, no. Is this knife maybe a good soldier's knife? As I mentioned before, no, you better take the flathead screwdriver. All right. So, who the heck is this knife made for? Maybe for collectors? I would say, from collectors' perspective, yeah, I would say okay. For collectors, that knife is okay, but not for 150 euros because, as you've seen, it is you can't use it. You honestly you can't use it. So for collectors, I would say okay. For collectors, okay. Or for tactical soldiers, even okay. So, I would say enough of bashing that poor knife. Would I recommend that knife for anyone to buy as a serious outdoor or backup knife or hunting knife? For sure, no. Please don't waste your money on that knife. The overall geometry is bullshit. The handle is bullshit. If you're a collector on the search for a pleasing looking knife, then yeah, okay. Waste your money on it and put the knife in your safe just to have a look at it. and its design, but I wouldn't honestly recommend the knife as a serious tool. So, knife people and friends, that's it for today. Enough of knife judging. If you like the video and the review, please leave a comment down below. Leave a thumbs up, or you can even subscribe to my channel. And if you like these videos, just let me know. And yeah, that's it. I would say see you next time. Bye bye.